Hello everyone, Elite Clockwoman here. Season 9 of the SKIBIDI multiverse has finally been released, where we got almost 9 minutes of new content. And the new secret scenes were very important for the plot of the series, as now we understand what is going on here. Also, another dude joined the elite squad of YouTubers, but also another one went crazy and became a simp finally. In general, we got a lot of information, as we learned something about the abilities of Daddy Clockman. And it turns out that the bro has his own weaknesses, and the toilets will definitely use them. We also learned about the plans of the toilets, and about the TV man's secret mission. The YouTubers also decided to blow up Big Ben, and you'll also find out why. Overall, we have a lot of different topics to talk about, and I'm going to explain in as much detail as possible what happened in those secret scenes, and how it will affect the future of the series. But before we get into that, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the new season. And here we go. In the first secret scene, we saw something unusual, as the scientists were working on some unknown project. And this thing looks like a tower, and there are TVs and clocks on it, which means that it is a joint technology of two scientists. And only after the Clockman scientist showed that everything is okay, we heard the sound of teleport as our GigaChat appeared. And from this view, we can see the whole tower, and it looks like some kind of satellite. And the scientist told the Titan to memorize the coordinates, and to get to some place as close as possible and plant this satellite there. And the Titan confirmed that he understood the mission, and then the scene changed to a new one. But still, what is this thing? And where should he plant it? I'm not sure what this thing is, but by design, it looks like a satellite that will transmit signals. But I think the satellite will be able to do something else besides that. But then where is he supposed to plant it? I think it's obvious, and he's going to plant this satellite near the main building of the SKIBIDI lab, as close to the main building as possible. And so, in episode 38, despite being wounded, Bro is headed to that base to set up the satellite. But why the agents decided to do that is not clear, so let's move on to the next scene. The next scene starts during the battle of the Titans against the scientist and the Astro Skull. And it turns out that inside the Astro Skull sat the commander himself. And what we see in a second shocked me, and maybe you too. Because Bro was able to resist the ability of Daddy who stopped time. Blood literally broke out of this ability, and it's amazing. Because no character in the show has ever been able to resist this ability, and I didn't even understand how the commander was able to do it. And there's a lot we don't know about this dude, so we'll have to wait for more episodes to reveal his secrets. But then, the commander remembered what the bald dude was saying, that the toilets don't need to defeat the Clockman, but just keep him in one place, and the toilets managed to do that with a lot of rockets. But that scene is also over, and let's move on to the next one. This scene was in time for the return of the improved Titan Speakerman in episode 35, and it all started with the fact that for the first time in a long time, we saw the Alarm Clockman, who last appeared in episode 27, when he was forced to kill the Chief Clockman. And I was very worried about this character, because Bro is not guilty of anything, and he was forced to do it. And it turns out that it is this Clockman who has to disarm the missiles that are inside the dome. By the way, I first noticed that on his head, there is an inscription, "Forward," which by the way may mean something. And after Megatron stopped yapping, the dialogue between the Clockmen began. By the way, in this moment, you can see that Bro is very worried that to start a conversation with Daddy, and it's like he was preparing for this moment all his life, and it's funny. But the Bro is determined, and he got Daddy's attention, and they greeted each other, and then the little Bro explained that he was the one who had to disarm the missiles, and he went to the entrance of the dome, and went in there to do his job. But then the scene changed, and we ended up in some kind of throne room for a meeting of the elite toilets. And this place is really beautiful, especially the lighted toilets that represent each character. As you can see, there are different colors, and each toilet belongs to one of the characters. Green belongs to Billy, pink belongs to the girl. Blue probably belongs to the dude in the mask, and Leo, and yellow and orange probably belong to the scientists. And as I understand it, all the toilets have rights, and they are like a council in the government that make important decisions. But still, the final decision is made by the commander, and he only listens to the members of the council, and we will see for ourselves in a few seconds. And the girl immediately tried to riz the scientist, as she praised him for destroying the device the Alpha used to teleport.
You played smart by destroying her device.
And then the guys started to wonder why the Master didn't save the Alpha, but to me it's obvious, since whoever that dude is, he only cares about his ass. The masked dude also asked where Male 09 was, since he was the one who was supposed to investigate the Alpha's master. But finally, the main boss joined the meeting, and said that Male 09 is still not back from the mission, and the scientist tried to excuse him, saying that getting to space is not easy, and it can take a long time. But then the girl suggested to make a temporary truce with the Alliance, and William went crazy about it because they killed his son. But the other toilets supported the idea, as the Master is more dangerous than the Alliance. But the scientist confirmed that the final decision is up to the commander. But then, William started to sass the commander as he said, "Of course, I wouldn't dare deny the commander's decision. Wouldn't want to share the same fate as Bethany after all."
Wouldn't want to share the same fate as Bethany after all.
Are you serious right now?
And to be honest, I am shocked that this dude dared to say that in front of the commander. But from my experience, I will say that usually in all movies in the company, there is one crazy dude who acts only in his own interests or his revenge. Of course, he can be understood as he lost his son, but he has to realize that there are more lives at stake now than his son's life that can't be taken back. And by the way, I have a surprise for those who have watched until now, as domstudio shared with me information about his son. And it turns out that this boy is the Williams son, who was killed by Megatron in episode 34. And obviously the commander couldn't let it go, so he taught this dude a lesson, and they huddled against the wall like a couple in love. And the commander said that they shared the same pain, but that he was in charge, and that he would be the one to make the decision, and he also warned him to watch his mouth. And he said that there was no turning back, and that peace was no longer an option, and finally he wants to meet his friend Jimmy. And after the engineer pressed the button, the commander and the scientist went upstairs to Jimmy's cell and noticed that the project is almost complete, and it's only a little while before Jimmy is released. And when we see him, he starts talking in SKIBIDI. But why the commander said that this might be the last time they see each other, and that he wanted to make sure Jimmy was ready for the consequences. But what consequences? The consequences of what happens to him using his powers? Or the consequences of this war? It's hard to know, but based on the commander saying that they will never see each other again, I think that Jimmy will die after he finishes his plan, and that's the price he pays for his immense power. But either way, he's ready for it, and the scientist said that there's less than 14 hours until Jimmy is ready. And he also added that G-Man should do everything as fast as he can, before Daddy Clockman stops time again, since the scientist figured out how Clockman's powers work. But all of a sudden, Jimmy started speaking in English, although for a couple seconds, Bro was speaking in SKIBIDI, but he said he was going to end this war. And then, there was a dialogue between the scientist and the commander, and it turns out that the scientist was able to find out about Daddy Clockman's abilities. And it seems that this ability to stop time is limited in use, because he can only use this ability 3 times in 24 hours. And so far, he has already used this ability 2 times, and when the toilets launched nuclear missiles, he had to use this ability a 3rd time. So this is a good time to attack him, and this is what they are trying to do with the help of G-Man. But I will also remind you that the counter-Titan is already heading to Daddy Clockman, and in fact, Clockman is now defenseless because he will not be able to stop time again. And he's also holding the dome, and although the alarm Clockman came to disarm the missiles, we don't know how long it'll take him to do it. And now I began to worry about Titan Clockman, because the counter-Titan is a strong opponent, and if G-Man joins this fight, it's going to be a meat grinder between these guys. But in addition, the scientist also found out the range of this ability, and the range of stopping time is 1,000 kilometers. And although this is a huge range, but still Daddy cannot stop time on a whole planet, and the toilets will clearly have a chance to defeat him. But then the commander asked if his Astro Shell was ready, and he meant the Astro Skull body we saw earlier. But also the scientist said some very important words. I couldn't do anything about super strength, but I made sure the body will be able to absorb your super speed.
I couldn't do anything about the super strength, but I made sure the body will be able to absorb your super speed.
And just so you understand that this body was specially designed for the commander, because it can use his abilities. The commander has super physical strength, and also crazy speed, which we saw in the moment when he flew at William. But unfortunately, the Astro body can only absorb his speed, but not his physical strength. But still, I am surprised at how strong the commander is. And although he is small in size, but if he has made a big body that can use all his abilities, I would even dare to say that maybe he can defeat even Titan Clockman, since the time stop has almost no effect on him, and he can free himself. I'm not gonna lie, Commander is real Sigma. And then, the scientist asked the commander to fight the Titan Clockman for as long as possible, to which the bro replied,
"You can stop time. You can't stop me."
And it's amazing how much the commander is confident in his powers. But still, the scientists suggested that maybe the Clockman can look into the future, as well as the Chief Clockman could, and even if it's only 10 seconds, it's still a very cheater thing. But bro trusts his instincts, and he went after the Clockman's head. Also notice this moment when he flies up into the air. We hear a sound, and space seems to shrink around him, and his powerful aura is really something else. But I hope he doesn't hurt our daddy, and the other Titans will come to the aid, since they are not far from him. But this scene ends, and the last, and just as very important scene begins. And already here, we see a squad of cameramen who came here most likely to guard Big Ben, but suddenly, a large cameraman lost his head, because the YouTubers appeared and said that the cameramen should get out of here. Also look at this cutie that hid in the back. Be sure to hit the like button if you like it. But anyway, the Moby used his power to hypnotize the cameraman so they don't tell anyone what they saw here. And then the cameraman signaled the others to get out of here, because everything was fine. But suddenly, egg-shaped bombs came out of the air and blew up the agents, and then a new toilet simp named Steak, but he was stopped by Just Cozy and told that they shouldn't fight here. And then bro went crazy and started screaming and flew away, and the guys started wondering why they were ordered to destroy the clock tower. And note that Just Cozy said they were ordered to do it by someone, which means they have a boss.
To be honest, I really don't feel good about this. Why would he ask us to destroy Big Ben?
And if you remember earlier in my videos, I suggested that their boss is a secret agent, Mr. Dom, who should appear in the series. And domstudio even said that he exists, but we can't possibly see him. So I'm sure that he cooperates with YouTubers. And ISO Toilet said that he knows why they need to blow up Big Ben. But unfortunately, we didn't hear it as another simp with TV woman pillow appeared on the horizon. Bro never ceases to amaze me, and he deservedly takes the first place on simping, but that's where the last secret scene ends. But we still have an important question. Why are the YouTubers trying to blow up Big Ben? Honestly, I don't have much idea. But as I mentioned in the last leak video, I think there is something important inside or under the tower. Maybe it's some kind of weapon that can change the course of the war, because even the toilets in episode 20 tried to blow up the tower because they knew there was something hidden there. But it's still a mystery to us. So write your theories in the comments. Also make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching it. Elite Clockwoman out.